Hey, how you doing? This is Coach Hood. This is going to be a real brief video to help you get started on your study guide for the real number system. We'll go through a couple of these questions so you can get started. Remember, if you can go back, view any other videos, go back to your digital notebook, get some of those videos, review some of the information from there. Right? The test will be 9/11, so this is your study guide. Just go through, fill out as much as you can, study a little bit tonight, and be prepared to take your testimony. Right? So, again, a lot of this is you can't do it by hand, but go ahead, use your calculator. Right? Go ahead and use your calculator. Okay? Like if right here I can evaluate the square root of numbers less than 225. That's the square root of 225. Remember, you should have memorized all your perfect squares from 1 to 15. All right, that's the square root of 25 is 15 times 15. So square root of 225 is 15. You need to have those memorized. Will come in handy later on in the school year. Right? But for right now, we are just going to use your calculator. Just go ahead and use your calculator. Right, remember, with these calculators, you can put anything in here except for parentheses. You have to convert the parentheses. But put it in your calculator exactly how it looks on paper. So if I want to evaluate this, I can do 2 second x squared. I can put 49. Same thing if you're using a Desmos calculator. Put it in there exactly how it looks. Right? Hit enter. Again, I'm using the color one, just sort of show it better on the video. So that'll just be 14. Remember, you have two things that are touching. That's a multiplication operation. So square root of 49 is 7. So 2 times 7 will give you 14. Same thing here. Right? Notice this negative sign is on the outside. Remember, on this calculator, this is your negative key. So I'm going to hit negative. And I'm going to do square root of 100. And that gives you negative 10. Use this basic principle. Use your calculator to evaluate all of these. Right? And this one, between which two whole numbers would this lie? Right? Go through these. Same situation. Even if you're trying to evaluate which one of these are true. Would the square root of 65 be between 7 and 8? Right? You can put these numbers in your calculator, or you can do if you got your perfect squares memorized, right? You can just do, this would be the square root of 49, this would be the square root of 64. All right, that's out of order. All right, remember, they go in order. All right, if you have them memorized, again, they go a little bit quicker. All right, so if you have them memorized, 1 through 15 memorized, you can get through these questions a little bit quicker. All right, even quicker than the calculator if you got to memorize. But put those numbers in the calculator and see if they fall in there. Right? Same rules applies to these questions. Just use your calculator. Right? And you can estimate. Right? Similar to this one. Remember, this is 121. This is 144. Right? Estimate this one. Right? Would it be 125? 125 would be closer to 121. 146 will be on the other side of 144. So the only possible solution, or the closest one, is this one. All right, you just evaluating. All right. All right, so you can go back through those, finish those up. For right now, we're going to flip it over to the second part, and this is just identifying, classifying numbers. I can describe the relationship between the sets of real numbers. Remember, there are two sets of real numbers. There are rational and irrational. Right? So if I just look at this one, right? This is 0.87. Right? That decimal stops. Right? So this would be a rational number. Right? Because it is a terminating decimal. Right? It is a terminating decimal. Right? And now you just label these rational or irrational. Right? Even these, you just evaluate each number. Right? Even if I were to do this, you can put that in your calculator. Now, put that in the calculator exactly how it looks, right? Just hit alpha y equals, put 19 over 99. Right? Sorry, alpha y equals, so let me start over, skip the step. I'm going to put alpha y equals 19 over 99, cursor over, then because I want to convert it to a decimal, I want to do alpha y equals, convert a fraction to a decimal or a decimal to a fraction, so I'm going to hit 4, hit enter, and it converts it to a decimal. Now notice this is a repeating decimal, right? Now your repeating decimals does not have to be 33333, 66666, 4444. This is repeating. It's 19, 19, 19, 19, 19, 19. So this will end up being a repeating decimal. Right, so this will be a rational number, right, and it will be a repeating decimal. Now, if it doesn't repeat or it doesn't terminate, it's not a whole number, then it will fall into the irrational category. Right? Same thing here. This is just putting numbers in order. Right? Let's see which one will be the fourth value. Right? This set of values contains only irrational numbers. Right? Now, again, you should be able to do this because there's one number. The most famous irrational number is pi. Any number, right? Anything that has pi multiplied to it will automatically be irrational. All right. If you have 1 pi, it's irrational. If you have 3 pi's, they are all irrational. Right? So this one will fit. The rest of these will be rational numbers. Now 14 is listing more, right? So you got to list every category that it can belong in, from the lowest to the highest. Remember, all numbers are real numbers. All numbers are real numbers, right? And you can just go down the list and classify it. It'd be rational, irrational. If it's irrational, that's it, right? If it's irrational, that'd be it. But if it's rational, right, it might fit into more subsets. So make sure you get all the way down to the lowest subset. Right? You got real, irrational, rational, integer, whole, and natural. Right? Same thing with here. Right? This whole entire box is the real number system. Right? These are your rational numbers. Remember, rational has subsets, so A will be rational. You got to fill them in now. This will be your irrational set. Right? Remember, think of it as this is Heath. They got a whole bunch of different categories of people, and this is Rockwall. Everybody at Rockwall is irrational. All right, they just all over the place. They're just irrational. Heath is a little bit more organized. They are rational people at Heath. Irrational people at Rockwall. Right? They all over the place. Right? Think of it like that. All right, and you can go through, fill in the rest of that. Go back and fill in the rest of that, and flip over to the last part of this. Is last 2 sections are scientific notation. I'm not going to go over scientific notation. Just make sure you're not counting zeros. Remember that a negative exponent is a very small number. Positive exponent is a very large number, and that first digit, right, before that decimal point, right, needs to be a number 1 through 9. Right? So I'm going to do 19 real quick. All right, so if I look at this, I'm going to evaluate these numbers. This is a very small number. So if I look at my answers, right, I know this one cannot be my answer. All right, because that's a positive exponent. Now if I look at the other one of these numbers, all right, this cannot be my number. This cannot be my answer, rather, because that number is 50. I know the first digit needs to be a number between 1, 2, either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So this one cannot be it. Same rule applies to this. It needs to be a digit to the left of this decimal point. That's not it. Now, when you look at this one, you might say there's no decimal point, but technically there is a decimal point. Remember, every number has a decimal point. This is 5 decimal point 0, right? 0. 0 is going forever, but you don't write repeating zeros in scientific notation, right? That is one of those hidden truths about math, that this is 5 decimal point 00, but we are not going to write all those repeating zeros. These zeros could go on forever. So just 5, this is a decimal point, times 10, negative 6. And if I want to, I can go and just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I get to that 6th spot. All right. Same rules applies to all scientific notation. Just remember that there is a decimal point in this number. It always has to be a digit decimal point. All right. And ordering real numbers. Simply convert all these numbers to decimals, put them in order. All right. This one just says which one is the smallest value. Convert them to decimals and compare them. Right. Which one of these values has the greatest value? Right. Put them in decimals, put them in order. All right. If they are already in decimals, remember the difference between repeating numbers. All right. I'm going to do this over here. Just make sure you pay attention to, especially if you get on your test or something. If I have 13.1 repeating and I have 13.1, which one of these is the larger number? Which one of these is the larger number? Right. This one would be the larger number, because the next digit for this one, because it doesn't say repeating, would be 0. Right. The next digit for this one would be a 1, because this is repeating. Right? So make sure you line up the decimals when you are comparing numbers. And go for each place. Right? If it doesn't repeat, the next digit will be a 0. For this one, the next digit will be a 1. So this makes this number larger than this number, even though it is written like this. Even though it's written like this. Right? That's all we see is 13.1, 13.1. Say they are equal. These are not equal because this one has a bar over it. All right? This makes this one the larger number. So you can finish this. Make sure you understand what ascending order, descending, ascending is going up. So that's least to greatest. Descending is going down. That's greatest to least. All right? So go ahead and finish this quick study guide and go over any information that you need, videos, and your digital notebook. Thank you.